Hey there, how you doing? John Bush here with the Brave New You Self-Improvement Group and Brave Botanicals, and today I'm going to share with you 5 ways, count them, 5 ways to deal with stress and anxiety naturally. And this is an important topic because the world has gone bonkers. People are stressed out to the max, whether it's work, family, traffic, if you're in Austin or a major city, all of the division and conflict with politics and the crazy stuff going on. Things can be difficult. And when things are difficult and craziness and uncertainties going on in your life, then it could lead to stress and anxiety. So I'm going to share with you how to overcome that, how to manage that, how to beat that down. Here's one of the best ways. Get a little pup like this and love on it. This is Agora, black market, my partner's dog. Anyways, he helps a lot with stress and anxiety. So here's the 5 ways. The first of which, well, before we get into these 5 ways, it's important to be mindful that you're stressed or anxious in the first place. Because of our programming, a lot of people just carry out their life every day, every moment, not conscious of their feelings or emotions. They are just on a path, carrying out a program. They're not even conscious of how they're behaving or how their actions are affecting others. So the first step before we go over these 5 things is to practice mindfulness, to be aware of your mindset, to be aware of your feelings and your emotions. And one of the best ways to do that is to get in tune with your physiology. Practice mindfulness through meditation, yoga, breathing, which happens to be our first tactic for managing stress and anxiety. And then whenever you start to feel in your body, whether it's some heat in your stomach, tension in the neck, maybe some sweating, or you're starting to breathe, or your chest is starting to pound a little bit more, that's your cue. And then you're going to think back to this video and you're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember John Bush gave me some great advice on how I can manage stress and anxiety. So mindfulness is the foundation of everything we're going to talk about today. So the first way to combat stress and anxiety naturally is through breathing. Super simple, really affordable, and you always have the ability to breathe. I want to give an example. My computer, it's a 2013 MacBook Pro that I bought on Craigslist. Maybe about 4 years ago. I've gotten a lot of great use out of it, but now it's finally starting to crap out, and apparently in 2013 there was an issue with the video card. So occasionally, it's happening more often, when I'm working, I'm like in the flow, in the zone, kicking butt, things are going down. The video card like shuts down and all these lines come across the screen. Now, this is especially stressful for me when I'm on a tight deadline and I'm trying to use stamps.com to ship some Kratom before 5 o'clock comes around. And I'm like, oh man, I already waited to the last minute to do this and now I'm in trouble. And specifically, maybe like 2 days ago, I had this problem and I was in flow mode. I was about to send an email. Thankfully it auto-saved, but my computer shut down and I just felt the stress big time in my body. So what did I do? I was mindful. I was aware that I'm feeling stressed right now. It doesn't feel good. It's not going to help my productivity. It's going to make things worse. So I did some mindful breaths. Now, if you're watching along, you can do it with me. All it takes is a simple in through the nose and out through the mouth. We're in tough shape if we have to review how to breathe, huh? But oftentimes people aren't breathing mindfully. Again, like they're just carrying out the program. So I sat down, I did these mindful breaths, and wouldn't you know it, I had some immediate relief from the stress, and I was able to get back to it after the computer started back, maybe like the 5th time I tried. Still kind of stressful. Hey, don't do that. And so, I have a dog here for those of you that are just joining us. That's the first thing, breathing. Super simple, always available, doesn't cost a dime. The next thing, if you're feeling real stress and anxiety, exercise can really help, especially if you're feeling angry and frustrated. All of these feelings that we have that don't feel good and that have a negative association can be alleviated through exercise. So one of my favorite forms of exercise is jogging. Just recently, I was feeling stressed out about some stuff I'm going through in my life, so I was like, you know what? I'm going on a jog. And I went out and jogged, and they just paved the road in my neighborhood actually, so I didn't go too far of the jog because like the tar, I could smell it. I didn't think it was very good for me. So I came inside and I ran up and down my stairs, did some push-ups and some sit-ups, and wouldn't you know it, I felt a whole lot better. This is another thing. You can join a gym, which has a little bit of a charge, but exercising is completely free, and you can pretty much do it anywhere. So if you're feeling stressed and anxious, do some breathing or do some exercise. What do we got next? All right, next is something that's near and dear to my heart, something that helps immensely with stress and anxiety, and that is Kratom and CBD. Kratom is, drinking some right now, it's a member of the coffee family, although it has no caffeine. It's made from the powderized leaves of the Kratom evergreen tree, which is grown primarily in Southeast Asia. And my company, Brave Botanicals, we're actually offering a free ounce. If you want to go to freeounceofkratom.com, that's freeounceofkratom.com. You can try a free ounce of greenmang.kratom. Essentially, it interacts and stimulates your serotonin and dopamine receptors. And that is how it helps to just kind of put your mind at ease. My first experience with Kratom, I was feeling so stressed out and anxious. I was on a cross-country promotional tour using Bitcoin only in our family's Bitcoin bus. And I was so stressed out because our tour was paid for with sponsorships. So we're going around promoting Bitcoin, doing meetups, using cryptocurrency only, and we had obligations to our sponsors to do podcasts, interviews, articles, plus my 2 kids were along on the trip. I was the only one driving, so we fell behind. We were actually behind on some bills back home. I didn't have the time to manage those, and I started to get really anxious. I'm driving, we got to get to the next town on time, and I'm like, man, our sponsors are going to be so disappointed in us. I got those bills to pay. I don't have time to sit down in front of my computer. This is really rough. And I was so stressed out and anxious to the point where I started having tightness in my chest. And that's happened like 2 times in my life. I'm generally not the most stressed or anxious guy. Actually, I've been stressed at times. There's times that I've been really stressed, but generally I'm feeling pretty chill. And this time I was super duper stressed and super anxious. I had a physiological response, and I remembered, oh my God, I got some of that Kratom stuff in the back of my car. This was my way that I earned a living selling Kratom. So I pulled the bus over, just poured a teaspoon of the Kratom into some water, and immediately as I began to drink it, the chest pain went away. And not only that, what was so impactful for me was that I had a change in my mindset. I went from one of fear and scarcity, I'm feeling anxious, people are going to be disappointed in us, we're not getting these podcasts up, to one of abundance and relaxation. It's switched to, we're doing a lot of good work here. Everyone that is supporting us is going to understand that there's times that we're going to have to be driving. We've been getting the podcasts out. We're doing a great job. We're getting a lot of listeners and viewers, so everything's going to be okay. So the physiological stress and tightness went away, and the mindset changed as well. So that's Kratom. CBD is a cannabinoid, and unlike THC, another cannabinoid, it doesn't get you high, but it does have the effect of taking the edge off and kind of mellowing you out. Kratom does that as well. So Kratom and CBD are 2 wonderful things. Kava as well, right? Now some people can drink alcohol to get rid of the stress and the anxiety, but alcohol has a lot of negative effects associated with it. Don't get me wrong, a beer or 2 here or there to take the edge off isn't the end of the world, but if people start relying on alcohol and become dependent on alcohol, it can really cause some damage, whereas Kava, Kratom, CBD are a lot more benign. They're a lot more soft on your system and your body. However, people can become dependent on Kratom, just to throw that out there. It's always important to use things responsibly, whether it's alcohol, Kratom, Kava, or CBD. All right, what do we got up next? Kratom and CBD, of course, are wonderful alternatives to somebody getting on serotonin reuptake inhibitors or anxiety meds or antidepressants. So give that a look. Again, you can go to freeounceofkratom.com and try a free ounce. Next, we have do something nice for someone. If life's got you down, you're stressed and anxious about everything, doing something nice for someone can really make you feel good, feel great. Not to mention, it's helping the world out, right? It kind of takes your mind off of your own problems that you have going on and gives you a little bit of that good warmth because you're helping others. And at the end of the day, we're all stressed out. We all suffer from time to time, and more often than not, we all have shit going on in our lives. So what can this look like? Lately, there's been people that I've seen that are struggling on Facebook, and they reach out for help, oftentimes financial help. And so one thing that I do, they've got a chip in or GoFundMe. If I believe in the cause, if I believe in the person, I'll just throw a little $20. I'm not giving hundreds of dollars or anything like that, but a little $20 goes a long way for someone that is struggling. What else? Helping people across the street, an elderly person that's struggling across the street. If you're feeling stressed and anxious, maybe you're at your office or you're at home, you can be like, you know what, I'm going to go volunteer down the road at the food pantry, or I'm going to go volunteer at the homeless shelter. This stuff feels good. You'll drop some endorphins in your body, and you'll definitely take your mind off of your stress. Another thing that's super, super simple is you could simply give someone a text message or drop a line to a loved one, a family member, a friend, and say, hey, you know what, we haven't talked in a long time, but I just wanted to reach out and say, I really appreciate all that you've done for me in my life. Give it a try. I guarantee it'll feel really good, and probably afterwards you're not going to be stressed and anxious anymore because you're doing some good in the world. So the fourth thing is to do something nice for someone else. Be selfless and expect nothing in return. And then the final thing, this is more of a meta lifestyle design thing. This was a big takeaway I got from Buddhism and the Dalai Lama. I read one of the Dalai Lama's books, and basically Buddhism is all about we all have happiness and we all have suffering in our lives. And the idea, in order to become more enlightened, is to minimize the suffering and maximize the happiness, right? So we can, this is a bigger picture thing. The other things that I've mentioned are shorter term things, how we can deal with stress and anxiety in the moment. This is something that can help us long term. This will strike the root so we are less stressed and anxious in general, right? Because we can just put little Band-Aid surface area things like drinking a glass of Kratom, or actually doing the breathing is going to help you in the long term, because it's mindfulness practice. And if you can stay present in the moment without being anxious about the future or depressed about the past, then you're going to have a good life. But take a stock in your life. Meditate on what are the things that cause me stress. So for example, maybe every morning you start your day off with a 45-minute drive and it just stresses you out. First of all, you get some audiobooks or listen to some good tunes and just change your perspective on it all. But if that morning commute is something that stresses you out, you're honking your horn, you're feeling anxious, your back is hurting, then maybe try to shift into another line of work that doesn't require the commute. Maybe move closer to your job, right? So the idea is take stock. Let's just make a list. What are the things that cause me stress and anxiety in my life? My job, maybe it's a partnership, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a friendship. There's constant drama going on in your life because of a boyfriend or girlfriend or because of some friends. And on the flip side, what makes you happy? My little puppy I started off, my girlfriend's puppy, the video, his name's Agora, super duper cute. He makes me happy. Playing with my kids makes me happy. Doing my work makes me really happy. Frisbee golf makes me happy, and I haven't done that in a couple years. So you make a list of the things that cause stress and anxiety, make a list of the things that lead to happiness and joy in your life, and do everything you can to shift your life design so there's less of the stuff that causes suffering, stress, and anxiety, and more of the beautiful, lovely, joyful things that put a smile on your face. So, for a quick recap, 5 ways that you can overcome stress and anxiety naturally. First, the foundation is to practice mindfulness. So when that stress and anxiety does arise, you're mindful of it. You recognize those feelings in your body, the physiological changes, the tension in your shoulders, that heat in your stomach, the heart beating faster. You recognize it. You're mindful of it. Boom. Then you can be like, I'm going to refer back to this video. I'm going to refer back to that book. I'm going to refer back to what my partner told me. And then you can actually work on dealing with that instead of just carrying out a program like so many people do, not even conscious of their feelings and emotions or how their behavior is affecting themselves or affecting others. So here's the 5 things. Remember, mindfulness is the foundation. First thing, breathing. Super simple, super affordable. We always can do it any time of the day. So, oh man, I'm feeling stressed out. My damn computer just shut down and I have a deadline. I got to finish this. I'm just going to take a pause here and take a few mindful breaths. Sometimes it only takes 2 or 3 breaths and already you're feeling relief, all right? The next thing is to exercise. Feeling stressed. Just got in a big argument with my significant other. Oh, I hate it when they do that. I'm going to go run around the freaking block like 6 or 7 times, and life is going to be better and much more chill. And you'll feel better because you're exercising, right? There's all these little side benefits to all this stuff. Boom, Doc Deuce is breaking it down for me there on the Facebook Live. Number 2 is exercise. Number 3, try Kratom and CBD or kava. These are all natural substances, plant-derived, that can really have a monumental impact in the moment on the stress. I discovered that Kratom really helped me with stress and anxiety. One time I was so anxious I was getting chest pains. I actually started drinking. As I was drinking, the Kratom helped completely kind of just take the edge off. It was sweet. CBD as well. Kava is another alternative. Try not to rely on the serotonin reuptake inhibitors, anxiety medication, antidepressants. Those all have some really negative consequences, and when you're dealing with something natural, oftentimes the negative side effects are little to none. And number 4, do something nice for someone. It can be something as big as donating to a nonprofit or volunteering for 3 hours at the local homeless shelter, or going to the old folks home down the road and going to read some books with some old folks. I guarantee you're not going to be worried about your stress when you're doing good for others. Or something as small as picking up your phone, texting your mom, saying, "Hey mom, we haven't talked in a while. I just wanted to let you know I love you." You'll automatically feel the warmth in your heart, and it'll greatly reduce the stress and anxiety. I guarantee it. And number 5, take stock of your life. Consciously focus on your life design and take actions. May not be overnight, may be over the course of the next year, to minimize those things that cause you stress and anxiety and suffering in your life, and maximize those things that bring you joy. This is John Bush. There's links below the video where you can join our Brave New You self-improvement group, where we talk about stuff like this, and there's a group of over 400 people supporting each other. If you struggle with addiction or dependency, alcohol, Adderall, opioids, opiates, whatever it may be, you can join the Brave New You the Brave New You recovery group, and there's people that are there helping one another. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. We talked about Kratom earlier. I'll give you a free ounce of Kratom. All you gotta do is pay $5 shipping and handling. Go to freeounceofkratom.com, and if you'd like to join the email list for Brave Botanicals, there's a link to do just that. All right, this is John Bush. Peace and freedom. Thank you for everyone that watched, and we will see you next time. I'm out.